Hello everybody, this is Wolfgang von Latman-Lozanna from chaliceofimmortality.com, and today in this great video I want to talk about something extremely important if you care about your health, your well-being, and preventing some very easily preventable diseases. And this is a very commonly overlooked cause of disease that a lot of people don't pay attention to. So, especially in our first world countries, but just in the world at large, we are very concerned with vitamin and mineral deficiencies or nutrient deficiencies in general. Okay, and our government has started to fortify commonly eaten food items with isolated vitamins and minerals. Cereals, rice, white rice, cream of rice, and even candy now. Like they're putting vitamins and minerals in candy, orange juice, pasteurized milk products. The list goes on. Even milk substitutes and things. And actually, some of our meat products actually are supplemented with things like vitamin B12, but they're supplemented in a different way. They're given to the animals in the feed rather than actually, the meat itself being injected with vitamins and minerals. Calcium is one big one. Like in milk, I think the majority of the calcium is actually supplemented calcium. And the vitamin D is actually added to it after pasteurization. But nonetheless, our food is heavily fortified. And the reason for this is that, most people in general, no matter how rich they are or not, like most people don't care about the micronutrients. They don't care about the overall vitamins and mineral content of their food. They don't care. Their goal in life is not to reach the recommended daily intake every single day of nutrients. Like they don't care about that. They're not tracking that. They could use something like Chronometer to track to give them an estimate of how much nutrition they're eating, tracking their food. It'll track the calories, some macronutrients, and the vitamins and minerals and the micronutrients of their food and the overall composition of fatty acids as well. It's a very useful tool, but of course, like I said, most people don't, and that's why the government supplements our food. So there's a big problem with this though. A lot of foods are supplemented with like insane amounts of these isolated vitamins and minerals. Some cereals have like 70% of your daily intake of iron. Cream of rice is one of them, and that's a lot of iron. And people eat these fortified foods every single day, like the cereal. Children have this for breakfast every day. And especially young humans, children have a much harder time removing these excess levels of water-soluble vitamins and minerals. They might have a harder time than adults, but nonetheless, in general, even adults are going to have a tough time removing excess iron from their body that comes simply from daily consumption of fortified foods. 70% of your daily intake of iron, that's a lot of iron to be taking in every single day. Unless you're a woman and you have and you bleed, once a month, or a week, 1 week per month, whatever your period cycle. But even then, that's a lot of iron to be intaking. And most of these vitamins and minerals, are not good to be taking on a regular basis. People always, they take their multivitamin and this and that. So there's a couple problems with fortified foods, okay? And this whole big long intro is just to let people know, like, hey, the vast majority of you all are consuming large amounts of isolated synthetic vitamins and minerals from fortified foods, okay? This could be a good thing if you're at risk for a deficiency, but you're probably getting way more than you need. And there's a couple problems with this. So the very first one is just there's so much of these vitamins and minerals, and so many different types of food. And many people don't even realize, like, hey, if I eat this whole box of cereal, I'm literally putting myself at risk for an overdose of iron or copper or whatever other mineral is in there. The fortification of vitamins and minerals puts you at risk of overdosing on vitamins. And as a child, I used to just eat shit tons of the cereal, probably because it was addictive, I don't know. But I would eat a whole box of cereal in one sitting. I was a growing boy, I was hungry as hell. And people drink orange juice like by the gallon. I know a lot of people do, but it's not common. But regardless though, there's a high amount of these things, and they put you at a serious risk of overdose. And I don't care what people say. The truth is, there's a huge difference between an isolated supplemental vitamin or mineral and a dietary nutrient. Okay, if you consume iron from something like spinach or something like a piece of red meat, first of all, those two foods have completely different forms of iron. Okay, the iron found in spinach is bounded up, and your body's going to have to go through a longer process of turning the iron in the spinach into active iron in the blood. So that could be good or that could be bad depending on the person, the situation. The iron found in meat, heme iron, is readily available to the body. But still, both of those forms are going to be light years better than getting the iron from a fortified food or a multivitamin or an iron supplement. It's very well documented that you can overdose on iron from iron supplements. If you take even just the 100% daily recommended intake of iron per day, after about 15 days, if you're a man, you start to develop symptoms of iron overdose. Okay, that's a lot of iron, because you also get iron from your whole foods and whatnot. The body usually has a negative feedback loop where basically when you consume a lot of a certain nutrient from food in its natural bounded form, your body stops absorbing that nutrient when it's already got an adequate supply. So it's a lot harder to overdose on a nutrient like iron or, whatever, vitamin E from food, because it's in its natural form, your body recognizes it, metabolizes it, it cuts off the absorption. Whereas from a supplement, it's just an isolated nutrient. You can, first of all, consume way more in a single serving. You can consume like pills and pills of an iron supplement and your body would die. You would die pretty soon. Compared to eating meat, in order for you to overdose on meat, it's going to take a lot, you're not going to be able to eat enough meat to overdose on iron in a short period of time before your body cuts off the absorption. Okay. So your body does have ways of getting rid of most vitamins and minerals. Okay. Mainly water-soluble vitamins and minerals. Okay, minerals and water-soluble vitamins, they can come out in the sweat and the urine. Okay, in the feces in some instances. But regardless, though, I'm going to try to make this kind of like short. Basically, you definitely don't want to overdose on supplemental vitamins. That's my point. So there's the overdose. The second problem with this is that scientists have only found the vitamins and minerals that we know about within the last 100 to 200 years, but these are not all of the vitamins and minerals that there are in food. Okay, these are the only ones we've discovered. So there could be hundreds upon thousands of vitamins and minerals and alkaloids and other phenol plant compounds that we have no clue even exist. We already know, science has already proven that these vitamins and minerals work in synergy to produce a balance of health and homeostasis, proper functioning of the physiology. We know that we need all the minerals and the vitamins that exist in the natural whole food form for any of the single vitamins or minerals to perform their proper function. If you consume an isolated, like let's say calcium, for example, you just consume a calcium supplement, like the calcium is not going to act properly in the body without vitamin D3, without vitamin K2, without magnesium, and phosphorus, all in proper ratios. We know that these minerals, these vitamins and minerals, work in synergy with calcium so that calcium can be properly absorbed and metabolized. Otherwise, you get calcification of certain parts of the body, calcium crystals building up in the joints, like in gout, or calcium crystals in the kidney stones. Usually this is just an imbalance of synergistic vitamins and minerals that go along with the calcium. So the point is, consuming these isolated these isolated vitamins and minerals, okay, is not because, oh, they're unnatural. No, it has nothing to do with it being natural or unnatural. It's that what balance of these nutrients do they need to be in? Are we consuming that balance? And what about all the vitamins and minerals that we don't know about that could possibly be working in synergy that we need with the calcium? So you're consuming the isolated fortified vitamins and minerals without all the possible cofactors that we might not even know about. I mean, what do you think is going to happen? So it's really counterproductive. I guess, this is the thing, though, that people don't understand. Whenever a government makes a recommendation or guidelines to follow, the recommended daily intake of nutrients, reduce red meat consumption, yada yada, or giving you guys fortified vitamins and minerals through the food, they don't do this because fortified vitamins and minerals are healthy, or because the recommended daily intake is a solid fact. They do this to benefit the greatest amount of people for the greater good, okay? Because in this case with fortified vitamins and minerals, it's because they understand the vast majority of people are not going to use chronometer to make sure they're getting the recommended daily intake. Okay, most people aren't going to do that. They're going to just eat their fucking cereal, eat their orange juice, and they're going to get 50 to 150% of the recommended daily intake of vitamins and minerals from fortified foods. From their fortified white bread and white rice, and their orange juice, and their pasteurized milk product, and their cereal, and their fortified candies and whatnot. Their Gatorade. The government knows that that's where most people are going to get their nutrients from, because people aren't going to want to eat a bunch of kale, a bunch of spinach, a bunch of avocados, tomatoes, carrots, bean sprouts, beans, legumes, red meat, eggs, liver, fish eggs, etc. People aren't going to go and try to find all these nutrient-dense foods to get their nutrients from. They're going to get the fortified vitamins and minerals on accident just because they're addicted to the sugar or whatever it is that they're eating. All that cereal and all that nonsense. But for people who care about their health and are willing to track their nutrients, it's probably best to stay away from fortified foods. We know that the best, most optimal and healthy way to get your vitamins and minerals for the day is from whole foods. The vast majority of people who follow a whole foods medicinal approach to eating, no matter what dogma you subscribe to, they probably get 70% more nutrients than the average population coming just from whole foods alone. And I know there's, also the possibility that, the vast majority of foods are lower in vitamins and minerals because the soil is depleted. But at the same time, would you rather have, vitamins and minerals in the way that they're supposed to be eaten in a smaller amount, or would you rather be over-consuming vitamins and minerals that you don't even know like the possible side effects of, with the risk of overdose and the risk of malabsorption, because there's other vitamins and minerals in the whole food form that you're supposed to be getting? I mean, to me it sounds like I'd rather be getting the inadequate intake of vitamins and minerals the way they're supposed to be consumed in, rather than like the fucking fortified foods. But all I'm trying to say is you need to be careful about this. That's all I'm trying to say, is that there are side effects and some severe potential risks involved with these isolated nutrients, okay? This is not a nature versus unnature, or nature versus synthetic or whatever. This is just science, is what this is, okay? Everything that I'm saying is well documented. I don't know why I have to defend myself about this, because I know there's going to be a percentage of people who are dumb as fuck coming on here trying to say I'm, a chemical, blah, 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 like, everything's a chemical, blah. Like, no, it has nothing to do with that. It's literally what these isolated compounds do in the body. That's what we're talking about here. We're talking about microbiology. That's all it is. Anybody who understands the science behind this, behind what I'm saying, knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's crazy that there's people out there that would actually not, they don't understand what I'm talking about, but they're going to talk shit. It's because they don't research this shit. They just want to pretend they know what the fuck they're talking about. So, yeah, be careful. Leave your comments down below and let me know what you think.